Okay, I'm going to share this next topic with you guys about integrating the teachings into your life. Because as I shared, if you've been learning throughout the course, then there's certain things that you've learned, but after the course, when you're integrating the teachings into your life, that's where the real benefits are coming from. You're going to need to be able to consistently practice these teachings on an ongoing basis, and that's where the real transformation to your mind and your life is occurring. If you have enjoyed your time learning, okay, great, but now to get the most benefit out of that, you're going to need to integrate the teachings into your day-to-day life, and that's what I'm going to share with you now. Just kind of a short little lesson to be able to help you understand this. Let me switch over to visual aids here. All right. So what you would like to do is attend weekly classes, either in person or online, and then attend in-depth learning opportunities like this one on an as-needed basis. So that's going to kind of slowly drip the teachings into your mind, because now you've gone through this particular training and these teachings, but you're going to need consistent ongoing teaching and learning and growing and developing. So you're going to need to find some opportunities for yourself like that, where you can be consistently learning over a long-term period. And weekly is really nice because you're just learning a little bit. But every once in a while, you're going to need in-depth training like this, where you're doing like a 5-day course or something like that, a more in-depth opportunity to learn. Then in terms of like reading this book, I suggest you read 10 to 20 minutes a day, just reading little by little. This isn't the kind of book that you sit down and you read for completion. Like, you could probably read this book in about 2 weeks. I've had students tell me that they've read it in 2 weeks, but they haven't really absorbed it. They haven't really integrated it into their life. They haven't really independently verified that what they were learning is true. And oftentimes they're not getting the full benefit out of doing that. You would like to slowly progress your way through it. It's just kind of like if you were eating pizza and you took a real big bite, it would be hard to chew it and digest it. What you would like to do is take little small bites and then chew, swallow it, take another small bite, chew, swallow it. So when you take little small bites, it's actually going to be easier to digest. This is the kind of book that you could actually read more than one time. There are some students that have told me they've read it 8 to 12 times. And if you're doing it little by little, 10 to 20 minutes a day like this, it'll take you a good 6 months to read this book. And that's wonderful, because then you can take your time to independently verify it all the way through. There were times when I would sit down to read the teachings of the Buddha, and I thought I might have been reading for maybe 15, 20 minutes that I was going to read. But in the first 2 to 3 minutes, I saw something that was very impactful and something that I was like, whoa, that's pretty deep. That's pretty heavy. I need to independently verify this. And I would go out into the world and I'd spend 3 days or so, maybe longer, going around the world trying to independently verify that particular teaching. So if you have a sit down and you have a craving to read, you're just going to want to hurry up and plow through it. But that's not how you're going to learn best. You would like to gradually make your way through it so that little by little you're reading each day. And if you're reading this way, what you're going to find is that something's going to happen in your life, and then like 2, 3, 5 days later, you come across the teaching. You're like, oh my goodness, that would have been such a better way to handle that situation. It's like real-time learning, that you had a certain conflict, a certain problem in your life, and here you are 3 days later, 5 days later, coming across the teaching of the Buddha that would help you in that situation in the future should you encounter that same situation. But you're also going to have the other situation where you're reading in this book, and 5 days from now, you're going to have a situation that the Buddha was describing in the resources, and you're already armed with the wisdom of how to handle that situation. So if you're just reading little by little like this, you're going to be encountering day-to-day life, and you're going to come across teachings that are actually going to help you in any given situation that you're having. So I suggest you read just little by little like that, 10 to 20 minutes per day. Even if you really want to read a lot more, just read little by little. And most of these chapters can actually be read in about 15 or 20 minutes. I know there's at least 2 chapters in the book that take over an hour to read, so you would need to read it over multiple days. But most of the chapters can actually be read in about 15 or 20 minutes. So that's why in that developing or that group learning program, I actually only teach 1 chapter a week. So you could actually just read for 15 or 20 minutes once a week, and then you can think about what it is that you were reading, and you can take the class where I'm actually teaching that particular topic, and then you can actually spend time to really absorb it and integrate it into your life and independently verify it. So that's what I suggest with the reading is just 10 to 20 minutes a day. Then you're going to need to develop a practice of generosity where you're frequently giving more than is strictly required in any given situation without any expectation of anything in return, such as your time, effort, energy, and resources. You're walking down the street, somebody drops something on the street. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma'am, you dropped this. Right? This is generosity. It only takes you like 3 seconds to do that. Or say you would like to practice generosity with your family or friends. One of the best ways to do this is integrate it into what you're already doing. Say you're at the market buying yourself some mangoes, right? And you see some avocados over there and you're like, my wife really likes avocados, which she actually does. And wow, she really likes avocados. You know what? Let me get some avocados. It only takes an extra 30 seconds to a minute to get those avocados and you're off in your day, right? So this is a way for you to practice generosity where it's not taking a significant amount of time of your day. You don't have to go like way out of your way to practice generosity. You're going to 7-Eleven to buy yourself a chocolate bar. Buy 1 or 2 or 3 extras for your coworkers at work and give them away to your coworkers at work, right? You're on your way into the office. Maybe you're stopping to get yourself a smoothie in the morning. Buy a couple bagels for people at work, right? You're already there. It just makes it so much easier. So this generosity that you're practicing, don't feel like you have to go like way out of your way to practice it. You can just integrate it into things that you're already doing. And this will make it really straightforward and easy for you. Then you're going to need to improve your moral conduct. There's certain moral conduct that you're involved in now that you're going to need to improve. And that's going to be challenging for you, especially in those relationships that you're the closest. Your life partner, your children, your parents, your siblings. These are the relationships you have the most challenges with. Where with your friends, maybe you have less attachment and you guys are always having fun. There's never any problems. You're not arguing or festering, but your family, right? This is where it's really, really hard because that's where you have the craving and the attachment and the expectations. And this is where people can sometimes think that the problem is your family because you have all these great relationships with your friends where you don't get upset and you're not frustrated. But that's because you're not attached in those relationships. In these relationships over here, you have craving, desire, attachment, and that's why you struggle. So you're going to need to learn how to have improved moral conduct, and that's where the Eightfold Path comes in. So you're going to need to pay attention to your moral conduct. One of the things that you can do is, like, for example, I taught on Tuesday the 5 factors of well-spoken speech. One of the things that I did is I used to review those in the morning, and I would review all those 5 factors, and then I would go out into my day, having my meetings, having my conversations, and then at lunchtime, I would look over the 5 factors of well-spoken speech, and I would reflect on the conversations I had in the morning to see where did I do well and where I didn't do so well. And where I see I wasn't doing well, I would then kind of aim to do better in the afternoon. In the areas that I was doing well, I would be ensuring that I'm practicing that better or continuing to practice that. So now in the afternoon, having just refreshed my mind of the 5 factors of well-spoken speech, I have better conversations. And now in the evening, I might look at it again to prepare myself for the next day. Right? So you're going to need to refresh your memory on this moral conduct to be able to integrate it into your day-to-day life that way. Then you're going to need a well-developed meditation practice of 2 or 3 times per day for 30 minutes or more. Understanding it can take you 6 months, a year, even 2 years to build up to this. You can't snap your fingers and instantly implement these teachings. You're going to need to gradually ramp up your practice more and more and more over time. So don't put a lot of pressure on yourself. Don't think that you're in a competition with anybody. This is your independent practice. You're not in a race with anybody. You're not in a competition with anybody. So you just gradually progress and gradually increase your meditation sessions. Then, as needed, you're going to need to seek guidance from a teacher because, as you guys heard, you would only be able to get to enlightenment by yourself if you are an actual Buddha. And those are very rare in the world. The last one that the world's currently aware of was 2,500 years ago. It's only a Buddha that would be able to get to enlightenment by themselves without the help of any teachers or any guides. Everybody else is going to need teachers or guides in their development on the path to enlightenment. So you're going to need to reach out to somebody and have somebody that you can be in contact with so that way, as you need help, you can get the help that you need. So these are just some things to help you build your practice, is attending classes little by little each week, and then in-depth classes as needed. Gradually reading, developing generosity, your moral conduct, and your meditation, and then getting help from a teacher as needed. So do you guys have any questions on this? You guys haven't been a very much of a question class. The last class I taught last month, boy, they had lots of questions. Every class is different, right? All right. No questions. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you guys information about the field trip tomorrow. If you guys would like to go on this field trip, I take students out on Fridays at the end of this class because over the last 4 days, you've been studying the teachings of the Buddha. And now, if you're interested in going to see some temples, I can share with you the artwork, the architecture, and the symbolism of the temples. Because when you go around to the temples, they've constructed the temples in a certain way, and they've embedded the teachings of the Buddha into the temples. If you don't know the teachings of the Buddha, you would walk into these temples and you're probably like, oh, that's pretty. Let me take a picture of that. Cha-ching. Oh, that's interesting. Cha-ching. And you just take a little picture and then you're off on your way. But if you know the teachings of the Buddha, if you understand the artwork, the architecture, and the symbolism, it's almost like the temple walls speak to you. It's almost like a living library that it helps you to be able to recall the teachings and remember the teachings by seeing the artwork, the architecture, and the symbolism. So visiting a temple can have a lot more meaning once you understand the meaning behind the artwork, the architecture, and the symbolism. So if you've never visited a temple with somebody that understands these things, I can walk you through tomorrow and help you to understand these things. It's almost like a classroom without walls that we walk through the temple and I tour you around and teach you the artwork, the architecture, and the symbolism. We go to the first temple. It's called Wat Umong. This is a forest temple that is about 20 minutes outside the city. Typically, they're a good hour and a half, 2 hours, even 3 hours away from the city. But this one happens to be only about 20 minutes outside the city. And it's very park-like. It's a lot of land. You'll see that it's a very different type of temple than probably what you're used to. Lots of trees, lots of greenery, stuff like this. So I'll walk you guys around there so you can be able to see that. Then we take transportation up to the mountain and we eat at a Hill Tribe restaurant where they have a really big, thick menu. And if there's something that you would like, they have it on the menu. They have vegan, vegetarian, meat dishes. They have coffee, smoothies, everything you can imagine. There's been some rare occasions where somebody would like something that's not on their menu, and I've seen them go get it for them. So this restaurant is very accommodating, and they're very nice to be able to host us all there. It's a nice sized restaurant. So we go there and we eat lunch. And then we go into the temple up on the mountain called Wat Doi Sutep. This is a completely different type of temple than what you'll see in the morning. And it's kind of nice to visit these two different types of temples in one day so you can see the difference and see the contrast. And then we tour around that temple and again teach you the artwork, the architecture, and the symbolism. We start out here at 9 a.m. And then we do meditation together and I welcome everybody because there'll typically be people here that aren't part of this class. There'll be other people that find out about it and they will come. So I'll welcome everybody. Then we leave around 9:45 or so. We head out. I organize transportation with the red trucks, those song towels. We call them song towels, which means 2 feet. They are your 2 feet for the day. We organize transportation. They take us to Wat Umong, Wat Doi Sutep, and then they bring us back. And there's a fee that they charge where when we divide it by all the students, it usually ends up being around 200 to 300 baht per person, which is actually less than if we did taxis to each individual place or some other transportation because we're kind of getting a flat rate for the entire day. If you would like to drive yourself or you'd like to ride a motorbike, you're more than welcome to. But if you'd like to join into the transportation, I'll have somebody here that can take us and you can contribute to the cost of the transportation if you'd like. Then we leave here around 9:45. We get to Wat Umong around 10:15 or so. We spend about an hour and a half or so there. We usually leave to go to lunch. We're usually eating lunch around 12:30, 1 o'clock. Then we go into the temple on the mountain around 2:30. And we usually get back here around 5 p.m. Sometimes earlier, sometimes later, but around 5 p.m., depending on traffic and how traffic is. And it'll be a full day. If you have a little bit of money in your pocket, that's really all you need. You don't need to load yourself up with a bunch of water and backpack and things like that. You're more than welcome to bring that stuff if you like, but they have stuff all along the way. The way Thai people are is they put food everywhere. You guys probably have seen that, right? So there's going to be snacks and water and drinks, and everywhere we go, there's going to be something. So if you have about 600 or 800 baht in your pocket, maybe 1,000 if you'd like to do a little bit of shopping or something like that, it's up to you what your personal tastes are. You'll be completely fine on this trip because it's about 200 or 300 for the transportation. Your lunch will probably be 100 to 200 baht depending on what you eat. There's a little bit of an entrance fee at some of the temples. So, 600, 800, 1,000 baht, you'll be more than comfortable with whatever it is that you need for your day. And then, like I said, we'll be back here around 5 o'clock. So do you guys have any questions on the field trip tomorrow? No? Okay. All right. So now we'll get to this activity that I usually do in the afternoon on Thursdays. So all throughout this course, I've been meditating with you guys and initiating meditation in the morning, and then we've been initiating meditation in the afternoon so that you guys can get in this, the flow of actually meditating twice a day. And this is helping you guys to build up your practice to the point where you're independently meditating 2 or 3 times a day for 30 minutes or more. And that's a choice for you to make to be able to do that. We're now here at the end of the class and the course. It's a kind of a transition point where you guys need to start transitioning to do things on your own, right? Where even though I have been initiating meditation, even though you've been choosing to meditate with me, I've been initiating the meditation. So you need to decide for yourself as you go forward in life what you're going to be doing at any given time in your life. And that's what you've been doing. But now in terms of meditation, instead of having the teacher initiate meditation, what I do is I give you guys this options that if you guys would like to, you could do breathing mindfulness meditation here on your own, either in the seated, lying, standing, or walking positions. That's something that you guys have learned as part of the course. If you guys would like to do it on your own, you can do it on your own. I'm not going to do chanting or guide you or anything like that, but that's something that you could do on your own. Sometimes students like to come ask me questions related to the path to enlightenment, maybe certain things I taught on Monday or Tuesday, or maybe something you've seen other places and you'd like to get some insight on that. You can come talk to me and ask me questions and I'll help you. Sometimes people like to do a little bit of cleaning here at the temple because when we came in, the temple was nice and clean, and we've been using the classroom for a period of time. And then sometimes students like to do a little bit of cleaning to make it available for the students who are coming after you so that they can have a nice clean classroom as well, because this classroom doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to anybody. It's all of us, the community, that are taking care of it. And then sometimes students like to clean up. What you choose to do is totally up to you. You could choose to do one of these things. I've seen students choose to do all of these things. I've seen students meditate, come ask me questions, go do a little bit of cleaning. And I've also seen students that just leave and go home too. That's an option for you too. Maybe you'd like to rest up for tomorrow's trip and you'd like to just go home and get some rest. Whatever you choose to do is up to you. What I do with this afternoon is it's kind of like a lab. Like if a teacher was teaching you some science thing and then after they taught you a bunch of stuff, they kind of turn you loose in the lab. That's kind of what this afternoon is like. And you can choose to do anything and anything that you would like to do. These are just something for you to consider of what you might do with your time this afternoon. I'm going to stick around and hang out in case somebody has questions for me. I'll probably do a little bit of cleaning as well and kind of make sure that the classroom is nice for other students. I think the bathrooms could probably use a little bit of cleaning. So I'll probably be doing stuff like that. But if you guys have any questions that you have for me, you're always welcome to come ask me, no matter where I'm at in the classroom. But I'm just going to kind of hang out as long as you guys are here. I'll be hanging out here as well. So this is kind of the afternoon. It's just you're on your own. Do whatever you like to do. meditation, ask questions. You can practice generosity by cleaning. You could choose to leave and go home if that's something you would like to do. So totally up to you. So I'm just going to end here by just once again thanking you guys for being interested to learn. And if there's ever any time that you are interested to learn anything, you can just come let me know, whether it's during this week or any time in the future. You're always welcome to contact me, and I'm pleased to help you guys with any aspect of your life practice or your life or learning these teachings, developing your relationships, anything you would like help with. Just reach out to me and I'll be here to help you. So feel free to make yourself at home, or feel free to leave. Feel free to help out here as we're doing some cleaning. Totally up to you guys what you do. So again, thank you guys, and perhaps we'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay?